Welcome in to this video where we're going to look at some of the best strategy games to look forward to in 2024. Everyone has different tastes, so we're just going to pick the best in each of these spaces. That medieval, that modern, maybe even that World War II era, and then that sort of sci-fi spacey sort of genre. Let's just get straight into it.
You have been chosen to govern a land of great peril and promise.
First one out of the gate, we'll go chronologically, is that medieval one. So this is a city builder, but it's so much different to a lot of the ones we've seen before. Think Banished, but instead of just dealing with your food and your medicine and your cold, you also get to deal with your neighbors. So you can actually attack the neighboring settlements using your own citizens to build out your army. But that introduces that next level of risk where if they die, you're killing your citizens, on an industrial scale, which can completely destroy your town. I mean, add to that your economy and industry dies because they're not there chopping wood or building, they're out fighting. The level of detail on this one is also really, really high. It doesn't just magically make buildings appear, they're not even staged. You actually see individual slats of wood go in. The level of love and care that has gone into building this is unreal. And this seems like just like a little nitpick, but it's super cool that you can actually walk through your city. Like, you can take control of your lord and lady and actually explore the city that you're building, which is just such a nice touch. And all of this was done by one developer. Just pretty one-person team doing just unreal things here. Then sliding in, Ultimate General Revolution. Now, anyone that played Napoleon Total War, Empire Total War, has this weird itch for musket and cannon. We all do, and it hasn't been scratched in so long. I still play Napoleon Total War, just to scratch that itch from time to time. Finally, something like this has come forward that's really set it, not just by doing some of the same again, but doing something a little bit different to what we see in the Total War space. Not only do we have the muskets and the cannon back, yeah, there's a naval element too, but you can customize your general, which is a nice touch, and you only see what your general sees. Which means the fog of war, as you would be in those days, is limited to everywhere that's not where you are. Which is such a cool concept, and adds so much tension and suspense. Like, I feel uncomfortable thinking about it. You find out that you've lost an entire fortress by a messenger 2 days after it happened. Whoops! Nothing you can do about it now. So where you are positioned on the map as your character in this wider setting is huge. And then it's real-time strategy in every meaning of the word. That means on the strategy map and in the battles. So you can literally have, unlike Total War Auto Resolve, your armies clashing automatically, zooming into the battle midway, take control for a moment, zoom back out, move over to another battle, move your units in. When they come in, they come exactly from where they were on the map into that battle. You can do so much stuff that meshes the high level and the tactical in such a cool way.
Honorable Steward.
Steward!
Oh, mighty Steward. Do you hear us, Steward?
Do you hear us?
Steward, are you listening? Steward?
Moving forward through time, next we've got, well, kind of Frostpunk 2. Look, I needed to sneak it in. It's a bit not really, punk, steam, but whatever. The first game was remarkable. Having to make these decisions and listen to people suffer. Sometimes you make the right call, the wrong call. Things go well, things go horribly. Always struggle against this inevitable doom that is the cold. The sequel is set to do something different. Still retaining some of the best things that made Frostpunk 1 so amazing, which is that experience of making those calls and seeing the struggle of these people in such a hard circumstance. But instead of building a city, you're coming into the picture 30 years forward from the original. The city's built, and you're dealing with the hardest resource to manage of all, especially in such a cold climate, the people. Having to make those decisions again, give people the vote. Don't let them vote. Maybe the vote's got to work. Maybe you can't pass the laws you need because the people don't want it and everyone dies. I don't know. But I can tell you what I do know. This is one that you've got to jump on if you even remotely like city building or anything in that political space in a strategy setting.
Stuart, what about us?
What?
Impossible.
Stuart? Did you hear that? The city. The city was not.
Back to reality. So next we've got Men of War 2. This Company Heroes 3 sort of kind of didn't hit the mark for a lot of us, and I know World War 2 as an RTS has been done to death, but Men of War 2 has a lot going for it. The detail has been brought to that next level, with individual detail on the buildings as they fall apart, how the units interact with them and each other, 300 plus historical units handcrafted. A lot of love and effort has gone into this, and then something that's quite new, and I think it's a bit of fun so that you can jump in and get into the action in between your grand strategy playing out. You can directly control units, jumping into your tank and trying to snipe that shot if you want to, which I think is just a good little touch. Something that I'm looking forward to as someone that really enjoyed Company Heroes back in the day. Then that brings us to the modern age. Broken Arrow. Cool name for a cool game. Look, this is very much in the vein of the War Game Red Dragon, that sort of stuff, if you recall that franchise, and you'll really resonate with this. It has the deck building element in terms of that limits what you use, but how they've come to establish what decks are comprised of what, how it's put together is quite unique. The environment has been taken to that next level of detail, especially in the destruction set. And then how your units interact with everything feels a lot more modern, a lot smoother, and a lot less simulator and more hyper-realistic, hyper-simulation game. Able to get really intimate into the views in ways that are quite cinematic and compelling. And then something that I really like, and this is just a geek out, is the customization that they do in this. You can tear apart your vehicles, put in different weapons, mods, different armor, different layouts set for your Abrams, all sorts of little details that allow you to highly customize what you're trying to accomplish with those units in your wider deck, which creates so much more space for individuality and gameplay. This is something that I will definitely be touching, and I am very excited to get my hands on, but it's not actually the one I'm looking forward to most. That's coming up.
Sins of our past.
Alright, before we get to my favourite one on the list, and the one I've been looking forward to telling you the most about, honourable mentions are things that just didn't quite make the cut, but I think you should still keep them on your radar. And if you guys want, you know, like, comment, jump down below, tell me if you want me to go into any of these games or the honourable mentions in more detail. We can organise that. But honourable mentions: Sins 2, Terminator Dark Defiance, Homeworld, Sea Power, Naval Combat. In terms of Sea ones, Task Force Admiral. I know I said this is honorable mention, I'm not going into it, but seriously, just one second, please. Look, this is a bit different. You've got caps, you've got realistic detail, you've got task force control, you've got so much going on in here that we haven't seen in a lot of naval-based games, especially in this setting, that is just done so so remarkably well, with the audio to join it as well. But I would, anyway, onwards. Headquarters World War II, a little bit different, turn-based, not so sold on that. Kaiser Punk. Alright. There's actually one more. It's a rat game. Honestly, looks cool. Now, finally, this is the one I'm looking forward to most. It's the sci-fi pick for the one to watch.
Since the first pioneers changed the harshest aspects of our world, every generation has upheld the solemn promise of our forefathers, that the rise of Titan would forever be without misery or bloodshed. We seek nothing from the solar system but a lasting amity of reason and justice. To see a war under any pretext would bring ruin to the great works of mankind. Any victory achieved through that deepest expression of human unreason would be as devastating as defeat.
Alright, on a top line, this is exactly what I have been waiting for so long. It feels like Expanse had a baby with, I can't even remember, Conquest Frontier Wars or something. I honestly don't remember. It was this sci-fi game from like, I don't know, 1880. Looked like crap. Story was non-existent, but God, it felt fun, and God, it was cool to play even back then. And this looks like it's really brought everything together in such an amazing way to make such a compelling experience. You can go out, you can lay mines, you can raid supply lines, build bases, set up ambushes in asteroid fields and nebulas. Like, it takes the naval element into the space combat setting and utilizes everything that makes sense in that setting to its advantage. And even better than that, it's so logistic and intel focused. So not only is the gameplay cool to watch, it relies on you making big decisions. It's not just, fix the supplies and then booze, let's spam warships to the enemy till we win. Because the map is so big, like space is, and no one seems to get it, that you really need to focus on key things. You can disable an enemy ship, board it, capture the crew, and depending on who survived and who you captured, interrogate them to find out so much more about your enemy. Maybe the captain knows so much about the local area. Maybe if you get an admiral, he can tell you about the whole sector. If you get the navigation officer, where's the ship come from and gone? Now I know where to look for my enemy bases. There is so much that they are doing in this area that is so groundbreaking in the genre of space real-time strategy. And that's just the top line. It still looks gorgeous. It still has huge levels of custom. Look at what I'm doing to the ships here. Look at this. The customization on the ships is like Stellaris, but you can feel the impact on a visceral layer when you get right up in there. And you can see that battleship emerging through the fog of this asteroid-ridden nebula. Thumping its cannons at you and you go, whoops, I'm facing the wrong way and I'm in the wrong spot and he's bigger than me. I need to hide and run. You just don't get that in a lot of these games. And it's really not, doesn't feel like it's focused on a swarm of ships filling the screen. Instead, that more intimate sort of feel of that privateer era of one or two ships against each other, maybe a handful in the right sort of environments, being the mainstay of what's going on. And I love that sort of honing in on this intimate feel. You care about your crew, you care about your ships, because it forms part of this journey, your story, along your strategy in this world. And I am so pumped to get my hands on this.
We have but a singular purpose: to establish peace and security for all mankind.
The war between Mars and Titan devastated our solar system. Lead the survivors to Demaret, where you will continue following Frontier's storyline campaign in orbit of an alien star.
Alright guys, I couldn't go into detail on any of the games anywhere near as much as I wanted to. This is super high level, but if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know if there's other games that I've missed that you think should be in here, or if you want me to go into more detail than Andy's titles. The comments are down there, just give me the heads up. Otherwise, we might do a few more of the top genres coming in 2024 maybe, but Deus Ex is next on our long series lists. That's going to be coming soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks guys.